I'm Kevin DeSmet, advanced student at Learning Alias. I wish to have a quick little power video on the ISO angle tool and how to use it. So I have two surfaces here and they are aligned with curvature continuity. I can put a quick little locator on there checking for curvature, and you can see that the edge is curvature. Okay, but what I want to talk about really is the ISO angle tool. So if I select these two surfaces and double click on ISO angle, I get the ISO angle control right here, and you can see kind of by default it points from the Z down, and it gives you reasonable enough results usually. So what I want to do is put in some more bands, say 20, turn off the shaded and go for visual curves. So this is a great way to analyze your surfaces and see the continuity, not just along the boundary, but along the entire span of your surface sets. So the way that you do not want to use this tool is by having a little light manipulator normal to the surface. So you might think, you know, kind of like this viewpoint, if I look at it kind of normal, I'll get a really good result. But in fact you do not. So if I flip this around a little bit, and this is about normal to the surface, you can see you get a very bad result. In fact, I don't think you can get anything out of this. You can see rings on your surface set because the light is pointing straight at it. You get like a tree ring effect, and it really doesn't help you at all. It's a mess, and it doesn't really tell you the truth at all. So the default straight up here works pretty well, but the way that I found ISO angle works the best is if you look at a very shallow angle. So you kind of take an imaginary three-point plane. You would think a very shallow angle could be something like this, and let's flip it the other way around until we get to that. So maybe a little bit more, something like that. You see, kind of a very shallow angle. And look at the results now. The results of this is very good. You can see that there's a little problem here, and there's a problem here in the corner, and the middle's really smooth and nice, and I think this gives you a very good result. Now this is kind of a straight surface set, so it's kind of in, if I turn on the grid, it's kind of in the Y direction, you know, almost like an extrusion, almost. So it's relatively easy to judge, but if you have a very compound surface with compound curvature, it gets much more difficult to put the ISO angle locator in that one spot. You may need to move it around in separate different spots in order to evaluate chunks of a surface. That's very complicated. But let's see how truthful this is. So if I select the surfaces and turn ISO angle off and look at a shader, I should get the same results. So let's see here. So clearly here at the top, it is kind of eating away at my highlights, so there's a slight problem there. The middle does look really good, you know, no matter kind of from which direction I look at it. And then at the bottom, I can see here there's probably a problem too. I didn't notice that. But you can definitely see at this region here, you have kind of like a ring. So in this case it is a ring, but ISO angle showed that the same way. So if I put ISO angle back on and it remembers the last position it was in, you can clearly see, oh look here also. So I just didn't notice it. ISO angle did show me that there's a bit of a problem there. And nothing, of course, prevents you from moving this slightly, either along that ring or even like this a little bit. But you see, you move it like this, and it's not quite as clear. So try to move it in the principal X, Y, Z directions, if at all possible, with the surfaces you're trying to analyze. So this was a quick little power video on the ISO angle tool and using the ISO angle light manipulator. Thank you.